Hi, this is Julia Flynn Werre, and I'm here with a very good friend and colleague, Mark Tadelman, and he is not located near me, so we're doing a Zoom. He just asked me a very important question, and I want to share the answer. So we're going to do a recording on going and doing in-person visits at dental offices and doctor's offices, as well as other health-related. So that could be podiatrists, optometrists, physical therapists, nurse practitioners, even physical fitness studios and personal training studios, dietitians, nutritionists, you guys get the idea, even alternative modalities like acupuncture, hypnosis, Reiki, things like that, herbalists. Really, you want to maintain a level of professionalism that goes above and beyond, because you really want to present our company in the very best light. So the first thing I suggested to Mark, to look very official, and this really does kind of go back to an older time, but wearing a name tag, and you can see I'm wearing my black name tag, but I also have a white one. Wearing a name tag really sets you up at a level of professionalism because it looks so official. So that's a really good tip right there, number one. Number two, a beautifully printed brochure. So Mark and I were talking because he's already ordered his brochures, right? Mark, you already have your information on the back of your brochure, correct?
Yes.
You do. Okay, wonderful. Oh, hold on just a second. We're going to. Okay, sorry about that. So brochures. So professionally printed brochures. Whoops. So that's the second thing. Now there's four ways you can use brochures. So way number one is to put them into an envelope, and I like my bright yellow envelopes, which I do also have for everybody. They can order, you all can order bright yellow envelopes. You're going to slide the brochure into the envelope, and you're going to put a Post-it note on the back of the brochure that says something like, thought this would be beneficial, thought this would be helpful, be well, Mark, or something like that. And of course that the angle of the Post-it note is going to come down so that it points toward your name so they can see that. So have you ever done that before, Mark? Done a mailing like that?
Never have.
This is really one of the best ways to actually get attention. Hold on just a second.
It can be awesome though.
Okay, so the brochures themselves have your contact information on the back, and what you're going to do is you're going to take the brochure and slide it into an envelope. I highly recommend a brightly colored envelope. It really could be any color, but the reason that I like the yellow is because, of course, if you wanted to go the professional route, it looks nice. It coordinates beautifully, right? But it goes through the mail quickly. And the reason you're going to do this like this is you're actually going to do a hand-addressed envelope. You're going to use your own return address. You're going to handwrite on this so that it looks like a greeting card. You don't want the envelope to look professional in this case. You want it to look personal in this case, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so you're going to do that. You could even put your business card in, but the real thing that you want to do is say, hey, I thought this would be beneficial. That's way number one. Way number two is to ask the place that you're going if you could leave a brochure rack with your brochures and your business cards there in the office, in the waiting area. That is always good. I'll just tell you that if you can do that, that's fantastic. And then you just refill the brochures when time goes on. The third way to use your brochure that really works great is like at networking events and things like that, carry a Sharpie. This is my Sharpie. This is the kind that has the chisel point so I can write in small or large type, right? And take your brochure, and when you go and you're visiting at the office that you're headed to or to a networking event, you're going to write directly on this brochure. Have you ever done that before, Mark?
Never have.
It makes people uncomfortable. Like when I'm saying that to you, how does that make you feel? Like, I don't want to mark up my beautiful brochure, right? Isn't that kind of, I mean, really, truly, isn't that kind of how you feel? Like, I don't want to do that because this is my gorgeous brochure, right? But the reason that you want to do that, I'm getting a clipboard here, making it easy. The reason that you want to do that is because you want to make it their brochure. You don't want them to just discard it. You want them to have some sense of ownership. So you might even write something like, the person's name. So your name is Mark, Mark and Julia, and you could, I'm Julia, you're Mark. I want to put my name on there really big for you, Mark, so that you remember. Now, Mark, you and I spoke about the healthy weight genes. I just put a little X next to those. You mentioned how important that was. I also want to draw attention to the fact, and I do a big arrow on the back, that's my contact information. I'm Julia. Now, there's my phone number. Let me put a little mark next to that so you remember my phone number. You were talking to me about your mom and your dad, and you mentioned that they have blah, blah, blah. So let me come back over here and remind you the red, yellow, and green here on the back of the brochure. I might circle that and put an asterisk next to that, right? So all of a sudden you're marking this thing up when you're talking to the person. It is strange, but when you do that, the person feels that it's their brochure. They won't discard it. It's really crazy. So the last way you mentioned was going in and doing actual visits at doctor's offices and things like that, which is really, really cool. When you do that, the person that you are going to encounter is the front desk person, okay? I did an entire video series called Meet and Greet on the program that I developed specifically for visiting doctor's offices. But I'm going to abbreviate that and tell you the entire visit needs to be based around the person at the front desk, because he or she, most likely she, is the gatekeeper, and she holds the secret passageway to you getting your materials through, right?
Understand.
Right. So my high recommendation is to make sure that you have a brochure that you can mark up or just hand it to her that is for her. Not can you give this to the doctor? Hey, I wanted to share this information with you, and here's an extra one for the physician, okay? If you really want to get in that person's good graces, you'll bring chocolate, and chocolate works great. My recommendation is to go to Costco in your area or a store in your area and get Linder truffle balls. And I usually have them sitting on my front desk to show you, but Linder truffle balls, like if you give the person 3 or 4 of them, it's not something they can get in their vending machine, right? So it's very special. It tastes really good. It's chocolate, and it makes you so memorable. And I'm
afraid I'll eat them.
Right, there you go. There you go. And in the warm weather, you want to carry those in a cooler. I used to do meet and greet year round and definitely carried them in a cooler so that the chocolate wouldn't melt. But I highly recommend that. And then after you do your visits, find a medical arts building, a scientific medical building where there are 20 offices in the building, like 20 different practices, okay? And then after that, what you're going to do is you're going to take your envelopes, which if you need them, just get in touch with me and I can shoot them out to you. But you're going to take your envelopes and you're going to write in handwriting in regular pen. You're not going to type this. You want it to look handwritten to the doctor and to the front desk person. You're going to mail each one of them another copy of the brochure with a Post-it note that says, "Thank you so much for being so kind when I visited your office last week. Here's that information we discussed." Okay?
Okay. Very good.
Yes, that process will take you a lot farther than just dropping off a bunch of brochures. Because the dropping off of the brochures doesn't get you nearly as far as you want it to. And it's always going back and hitting them again and hitting them again and hitting them again and calling them and texting and email and visit and visit and visit. And that's really what you want to do. And if you can get their email address to the practice, that's even better. So that's my high recommendation. Now, I'm going to turn off now, but Mark, do you have any questions that I missed that you might have about this process?
What if your handwriting isn't the best in the world and mine's not good at all, to be honest with you?
Do you see that? That's pretty nasty, right?
Okay.
It's the world's worst handwriting. So I will say to you that I usually have to really slow down and do big block letters.
Understand.
And I have really bad, it's like a carpal tunnel or something. I don't have really good control. The one thing that I will say to you that has been my godsend has been the skinny Sharpie. The skinny Sharpie that has the fine point on it, like that, is very forgiving. It bleeds a little bit on the paper, so it makes it a little bit more forgiving.
Okay.
The more homemade it looks, the better it is. I have even gone as far as going to Walmart, getting a stamper in the craft section and stamping something on the back and front of the envelope so that it really looks like a note, like it looks like a thank you note from a patient or something. You really want that effect because you want that envelope to get to its destination.
I appreciate the information. Thank you, Julia.
You are so welcome. If there's anything else, though, let me know. All right, thanks, guys. We're going to turn the recording off.